Coach, you guys have had a couple of days. I know guys probably like to get in the gym, get the blackout day for sure. What you guys got done or accomplished today?
I mean, we had 2 days off, but one day was blackout day. Yesterday we had a bunch of guys come in anyway. So we as a staff, we've been in just trying to get some things done. When you don't know who you're going to play, my way of thinking is you might as well try to improve on yourself. And so we've been trying to nail down some things that we thought we could get better at these next 3 days with the hopes that it'll make us, a much better team when we find out who we're going to play. And then today we tried to implement some of that stuff from the transition defense to trying to be much better in the rebounding component on the backside, and just a few new wrinkles that we were trying to, add to our defense, and a couple of things that we can improve on in our offense.
When you look at just the level of managing this now, excited for the playoffs, but understanding what can be done in between that and rest and all that, how are you engaging all that within these last?
I don't know. I mean, I think there's this misnomer that I'm like this old wise sage when it comes to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Like I haven't coached in that many playoff games. I mean, I don't even know what it is, but I think it's a day-to-day thing for us, is trying to figure out what's best for this group is the way I approach it. If we had a younger team, I might approach it differently, but there is a balance of trying to get 5-on-5 in because we have this week off. We don't want to decondition, even though I think teams that are off this long will a bit, but I think we're all on the same plane in regards to that. But I don't have great answers for what we should do, and I'm sure Pop could, Carlisle and Doc, they probably got it down, but it's not like that for me. We spend a lot of time talking about it, what's best for the players, and try to figure out that balance. But I don't have a great answer there.
Monty, did you sense the usual itch from the guys after a day or two off to get back in this group?
Yeah, it was here yesterday. I was up there in the office with the coaches working, and guys were out here running sprints full court and getting up a ton of shots. And today was spirited, and you could just feel it. Guys were ready to go. They kind of knew that we were going to give them something, even though we don't know who we're going to play, some sort of presentation to give them some things that we can get better at. But yeah, the itch is there. Guys are in a good place, I think, mentally, and we'll be ready to go come Sunday. Yeah, he did everything today, so that was a really good sign. I saw him yesterday shooting, and he had the campaign bounce back, so I think the days off really helped him. Now he's got to get himself back to the conditioning piece, and we'll get up and down, play some 5-on-5 tomorrow, so hopefully that will help. Yeah. I can tell you the second part, no. My family, they go out of their way to do stuff that I think is really cool. My wife made more cookies than any cookie store in town. You know what I mean? I was like, what are you doing? And my boys were excited. My daughters, they're on all those social platforms, and one of my daughters put something on there that was just hilarious. And I was like, that's cool, But it's hard to do that when you're focused on what we're trying to do. At the same time, I told the players today, in my opinion, Coach of the Year is probably the award that exemplifies the organization and the team more than anything. To sit here and tell you I'm the Coach of the Year, that makes no sense to me. I think it's a combination of so many things, and no one's more important than the players going out there and producing every single game. And at the same time, I think we're all aware that every coach in this league teaches good stuff. Nobody comes in and says, hey, man, I hope you guys really suck on defense today, and I hope you three cuss me out, and I hope you guys never show up on time. Like, no one does it. You know what I mean? We all try to teach good stuff. And so from that standpoint, I'm grateful that I've had a chance to not just win one, but two, but I'm also grateful for the people that I work with, and I'm grateful that it happened here in Phoenix.
Monty talked about how grateful you are to go through with these players, but about your family, your kids are old enough to know what dad does.
Yeah.
You get to share a lot of these moments together. I guess how special is that?
Yeah, it's cool.
All this with your family.
I mean, my boys didn't see me play, so they, you know, I did dunk at 50, so they do believe I can dunk. But other than that, they've had to like look at like footage. And so to be able to experience this with younger kids is really cool. And then my daughters are older, they're working in college, and they have their own lives. And so they're at school or on the job, and they'll call me like, Dad, you know, we just heard, you know, that kind of thing. So it is cool. It's cool for my family. My grandfather lives in Tarboro, North Carolina, and he called me last night. And to have your grandfather call you and tell you how proud he is of you means a lot. And I think my aunties and cousins and all the calls and texts I got yesterday really made it pretty cool. So that part I enjoyed. But I think they're all surprised. You know, they're like they're surprised that I'm coaching, and then probably surprised that I won Coach of the Year. So I think it's pretty funny.
Monty, the organization emphasizes player development. You guys been especially good at it. I know it's a broad subject, but what 2 or 3 factors go into that?
Yeah, I mean, one, you have to have players that commit to it. You know, I think in this day and age, players in this league have their own teams or people outside of the organization. Our group has committed to this program and committed to our coaches. And I think it's helped us a ton. And we don't take it for granted. So I think that part. And then we have a staff that really is always available, and they're intentional, meaning we don't just step on the floor and say, hey, let's shoot from here, you know, that kind of thing. There's a film study, there's a data study to try to figure out like what does this guy need to work on and what's going to help him further his career. There's probably 3 or 4 other things I'm missing, but those 2 things, the players' commitment and our staff that is available and intentional about helping our guys.
Monty, what were your impressions of the way the Clippers played last night?
I thought the Clippers were like normal, you know, Clippers basketball. They played differently. They played big. They played small. They played in 0.5 a little bit and were getting open shots. They played one-on-one. Just in those moments, they missed some of those one-on-one shots. I thought Reggie missed a layup that he's probably, you know, kicking himself. I thought they were physical on defense. There was some chippiness in the game, which is, you know, typical when the Clippers play, but especially with Minnesota and Patrick Beverly. So it's hard to even think about who you're going to play because I'm sure that most of America thought that the Clippers were going to win that game, but it speaks to the importance of, you know, home court and being able to play one game in front of your fans. That's a huge thing. And I'm sure that fan base, when it got tight, gave them an extra edge, and the Clippers couldn't overcome that. So it's hard to even talk about who we're going to play. I mean, you still have, now we got 3 options. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't even know. It's like spit shining a booger right now. Like, I don't know what you do. You know, it's like, you just got to wait.
We'll ask you about who wins tonight, tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly. I'm the one that's got to answer all these questions about.
Monty, you focused more on the second unit in these past 2 last regular season games, but this week we're focusing on balancing out to get their, you know, wind up. Are you focusing more on that for them this week in the scrimmages?
Well, I think your second unit is important just because you don't know like which one of those guys is going to come in and have a chance to help you win a game. So for me, spending time with them in certain situations is something that's of importance for me and the staff. At this point in the year, like that unit, their minutes get compressed a bit, and the minutes that they do have, they got to make it count. And so the games we had where Chris, and Book, and DA and Jay and Mikkel didn't play a ton of minutes, I think were huge for us. It gave us a chance to put certain guys in environments and see what they do, because you never know if you're going to need a guy in the games we have coming up.
Well, we talk a lot about family support. A lot of your guys have like generational connections to the game. It doesn't seem to have led to any pressure. It seems to maybe it contributes to professionalism. I don't know. I'm curious how you've seen that play out with your guys who've got that background.
Yeah, I'm sure. I can't speak for them, but I know for my own kids, my boys and girls have been in the gym since they were in diapers. And they've watched me coach, so they understand what that day is like. And then they get into sports, and then they understand, why practices are long and why coaches do a certain thing and why they have to work away from a practice just because they've been around it for so long. And I'm sure that's helped our guys when you're a baby going to the gym with your mom or dad. In today's economy with women doing the same thing, I think it gives you an advantage. It doesn't make you better, but it does give you an idea of what it's like. And I think that's helpful. I know with my boys, they've been in the gym with me since, my sons would be in the gym, bad dribbling with a diaper on, man. It was like they had one basketball in their hand and one between their legs because I forgot to change them, but they were just like in the gym, and that's all they knew. They'd be in the gym with me and go home and go to bed, so I think it helps when you've been around it.
So just when you take time to talk with the guys outside, like you're practicing, I've seen you talk to a guy off to the side. How important is that during this time when, hey, we know what the goal is, what the objective is, even having those kind of conversations?
I think for me, it's always not always me talking. It's sometimes just me listening so that we can connect. I think the misnomer is I'm like, doing that all the time. There's a lot of times where I'm asking questions so I can figure out like what makes this guy tick or what allows him to be more productive on the floor. And a lot of times it's not even about basketball. It's about whatever, family or what's going on in the world, that kind of thing. But I think they're important. I learned that from Pop. He was the first guy that I saw was that intentional about those types of conversations. My high school coach did it, but I was, too dumb to know what he was doing. Yeah, I was like, I was wondering why, a lot of stuff, right? But when I got with Pop, it made sense. Even Coach McLeod was huge on that. Like he would make every team dinner we had before a game, I had to sit beside him. I didn't understand what he was doing. He was talking to me about outside of basketball stuff. And it wasn't until later on in my career that I realized what he was trying to connect with. I was just too a lot of things back then. I spend a lot of time with all of our guys, but those two for sure. Chris is probably the one that, we were talking yesterday. I FaceTimed him in our meeting, and we were talking about something that we were trying to figure out. And just in that conversation, he said something that made us think, and we changed, what we were going to do just off of that conversation. And so, the Bible says iron sharpens iron, you know what I mean? And two are better than one, you know what I mean? And that's something that I value is a meeting of the mind. There's a multitude of wisdom in counsel, you know what I'm saying? So there's wisdom when you get together with guys that know more than you, but when you just get together with people and talk about stuff to try to come up with a common achievement or goal, I think it helps to have your brothers with and sisters.
Monty, at the beginning, you were kind of talking about doing more of a self-scout the last couple of days when you're playing. Is that any more, be able to spend any more time just looking at yourself?
Yeah.
Have been able to
Yeah, we told the guys today we wanted to try to get like 2 or 3 wins these next 3 days, and most of that is based on the self-scout, trying to figure out like how we can improve in our transition defense. And there's one element that we've talked about that I won't give out, but we talked about it today, but it's a part of that self-scout paradigm, if you will, just trying to figure out like, okay, we don't know who we're going to play, so we might as well dive into who we are and how we can get better.
You felt like you learned some things about you guys?
Yeah, we did. So you try to ask me the same question a different way to try to get a different answer. I'm on to you media. Yeah, right. I'm on to you media people. I don't answer a question one way, right? So you guys are, okay, circular questioning, right? You go back and change up the subject verb relationship.
Right.
Can I go now? Before I say something to get me in trouble.